On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks win total over-under is 48.5. Are you over? Are you under? And we're going to give you 3 automatic overs and 3 automatic unders in the NBA. Oh, we're betting it all up on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. But the best way you can help us grow this show is to comment anything below. Let us know. Give us your guaranteed automatic over or under. We're going to give you a bunch of different win total over-unders this year. So the Mavericks number is 48.5. Are you over? Are you thinking they're going to get 49 or more wins or 48 or less wins? So let us know. I'll put the link in the description as well for where we're getting all these on Betonline. So go check it out. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. That's prizepicks.com/promo code LOCKEDON. Joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, and contributor at Mavs.com. The over-under Uber dude, the one we're thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Nick, let's play a game right off the top. Yay or nay? Are you taller than Facu Campazzo?
Am I taller than Facu Campazzo?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, very, very much taller.
Yep, me too. All right, that's the game.
My guy's listed at 5'10". Like we're not even pretending here. We're not even trying the JJ Barea I'm 6 foot thing.
We talked a little bit about Campazzo on yesterday's pod, and if it becomes official this week, then we'll talk more about what he adds to the team and connection to Luka and all that. Again, we're going to talk some over and unders today.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a shout out. If you're the guy who writes us all the time, anytime we do a Betonline ad, there's this one guy who gets really upset the fact that we're Christians and the fact that I'm a pastor and that as we talk about Betonline as a sponsor. Listen, I'm telling you right now. Well, my sins bring me money. All right. So, the Betonline pays.
You know
us
what?
money,
Mary
so.
Magdalene said that too, Isaac. What happened to her?
My guy.
You know who else said that? The woman at the well, Isaac. The woman at the well said that too.
My guy who sends the comments and the DMs and all that crap.
Tax collector said that.
I'm not putting real money on. I need money to put down on something before I put. I'm not. We're just talking about fake lines. All right. So calm down, chill out, pass it. Put your stone back down in the sand.
Pass the what?
No, we're good. We're good.
All right, let's get into it. So we're doing over-unders. It's win total over-unders. The Dallas Mavericks number is 48.5 on BetOnline. Oh, give it to me. Give it to me. Easy over. Give me the easy over on the Dallas Mavericks because...
I thought your wife walked. Anyway, cool.
My sins pay me. My over-under... 48.5. Like they just have to win 49 games or 50 games. Last year they started out, we have to remind everybody, they started out 16-18 on December 29th. They make the KP trade on February 10th. This team has not even played together like 5 months as their
we had freaking Isaiah Thomas suiting up for this team last year
as their identity. Now they go in, they have this identity, they add more depth with Christian Wood, free agent acquisition Tim Hardaway Jr., JaVale McGee, and Josh Green maybe takes the leap. Jaden Hardy maybe adds a little bit too to this team. Maxey said something interesting in practice the other day on Monday. He said, we were able to add zone defense into our scheme, and we were able to install that. And you know that like they have these defensive schemes. We've talked about with JaVale McGee, how they brought over this defensive scheme and they install it throughout the year. And last year they could only get to defense later in the year, like zone defense later in the year, because they had to teach everybody it. They had to teach everybody the foundations. They were able to do it in preseason this year. That's what knowing your identity, having continuity, having people that already know this going into the season. And so that's why I'm going way over.
Last year they won 52 games and the over under, like you said, is 48.5. So they're obviously just taking this and saying, all right, the West got better, but they lost Brunson and that is costing them 3.5 wins. I'm sorry. I'm blasting the over on this. Like our first segment's, some locks for, the over. And it just, yeah, we're going to be biased here, but I think the Mavs are a clear over on this. Like you can't convince me that they're going to drop down whenever they added what they did. Lucas takes the floor at what it was. Last year, the 6th seed in the West was the Nuggets, and they won 48 games. So I think Dallas finishes in the top 6 of the West. So I'm taking the over, although I'm not saying that I don't think they win as much as they did last year. I think they hover right around the 50 mark. My prediction is 51 games.
This is a 50-win team, though, right? Like this is a 50
I think they win 51.
Yeah, which is over. That's way over to me. That's like at least a couple of good wins there.
And like, I know I joked about it. Remember, this team had COVID stuff last year. Yeah. Brandon Knight, Isaiah Thomas, all these dudes were suiting up. In addition to the weird fit with KP missing some games, and then the trade and like all this stuff. So like they had a ton of crap that happened to them in the regular season last year. So the continuity that you were talking about, they're taking that into the season this year. I know they lost Brunson. We wish, if Brunson was still here, they'd be
way over. Yeah,
way over that. But I'm still comfortable taking the over on.
Yeah, here are some players that played actual games: Charlie Brown Jr., George King, Omarui, Moses Wright. like these guys are playing games for the Mavericks last year. Remember Marquise Chris played 34 games for the Mavericks. Trey Burke played 42 games for the Mavs last year. Sterling Brown played a solid.
None of these people have teams.
Played a solid role in rotation for 49 games. Like
Omarui is the only guy who's on a 2-way for OKC. Moses Wright's in China. Trey Burke, Marquise Chris, like
Burke is on the Thunder, but
okay. Sterling Brown, teamless.
Yeah. Anyway. So like that's where the Mavericks are this year. They replaced the rotation a little bit better. They're deeper than last year, which I think depth matters a lot in these win totals, because you think about injuries and say, all right, what if one of these guys gets hurt? Okay, well, if McGee gets hurt and you have Wood or Maxey or Dwight to replace him, and then on down. Luka's the obvious one that can't get injured, but that's the case for all these teams, including. I'm gonna throw you this one quick before we move on. This is another easy over I have.
Oh, really? All right. Who?
50.5. Denver Nuggets.
Ooh.
Easy over for me. Don't ask Theo Pinson, because he may disagree with you on this one. He did not seem to think the Nuggets were going to be the number 1 seed at Media Day, but they had 48 wins last year. This is how many games they got from Jamal Murray. 0 games from Jamal Murray last year. How many games do you think they got from Michael Porter Jr. last year?
28.
9 Michael Porter Jr. games. So they lose Will Barton, Monte Morris, Austin Rivers, Campazzo, JaMychal Green. It's like, shrug your shoulders. Okay. They're adding Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, Ish Smith, and then whatever you want to consider DeAndre Jordan to be. Like they're getting better. They're a little bit deeper. Jokic is going to be just as good as he has been before, and Jamal Murray helps Jokic in a lot of different ways. Like that's that they're at least adding 3 more wins to that team.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. They're not a lock for me, just because I feel like I'm putting a lot into Jamal Murray.
You're putting 3 wins. 3 wins.
I know, but
they were a 50-win team, 48-win team last year.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm not going to argue with it, because I think they're going to be really good. I think they're a top 4 team.
Automatic.
I think the Nuggets have a better record than Phoenix does this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't say that on Twitter. Everybody with a sun avatar will come after you.
Well, I didn't know they're still on Twitter after Game 7.
Mikal Bridges is.
Mikal Bridges that was good.
That was amazing. Go check Mikal Bridges' Twitter. It's amazing.
I'll move over to the East real quick. And after the break, let me move over to the East, and I will give you one of my locks for the over.
We're doing more locks for the over. All these ones coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the app where you can go check out and play daily fantasy, but it's not daily fantasy as if you have to play against the league, you have to play against a bunch of people. It's a game where you pick 2 to 5 players, and you will go against the score that Prize Picks picks as their projection. So you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. You pick Luka Doncic. Let's say the over-under is 30.5. You pick the over on Luka's points. Then you can combine that with Dak Prescott passing yards. You can do the under on that if you're feeling that. And then if you win You can see what you're going to win automatically. You're just playing the game. You're not playing against professionals. You're not playing against all these different people that all they do with all their time is try and figure out how to win these games. You get safe and fast withdrawals. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com, sign up, and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. You put in $100, they will also match you with $100 for free. Use the promo code LOCKEDON. Deposit $100. PrizePicks will give you $100. Go ahead, use the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Go check out PrizePicks. All right, Isaac Harris, we are talking about over-unders, win total over-unders for the NBA. And we're both over on the Dallas Mavericks. I gave you an automatic over of the Denver Nuggets. Give me another automatic over.
Philadelphia 76ers. They are a lock for me to be over. Last year, they won 51 games. BetOnline has them at 50.5 for the season. So like a half game lower than what they were last year. And we're getting another, like a healthy offseason of James Harden.
Should I take a drink?
If you believe in skinny James,
he's not getting enough credit for taking a lower salary this year, Isaac. He's just not.
Oh God. If you believe in skinny James, we both picked Tyrese Maxey to win most improved player.
Yep.
Then they had the additions of PJ Tucker and some of these, role players of Daniel Houses of the world, DeAnthony Melton. I just think they got better. I think Embiid's going to have another big season. But yeah, I just think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a top 3 seed in the East. And I don't understand how they're projected a half game lower than what they were last year.
How about they get James Harden and don't have to deal with Ben Simmons?
Yeah,
but James Harden will play. Ben Simmons did not play for them last year, and they still had him on the roster, like taking up a salary and a roster spot. So they have that to not deal with.
Yeah, so they're locked for me.
They're also all in this year, right? Like they just have to be. Doc Rivers, Embiid, Harden.
Doc kind of sucks, but I still think that they can.
But they all have to be in this year. Like there's no turning back. There's no jumping out of the ship here.
Yeah.
All right, I got another one. We've talked about this team a couple of times over the last couple of days. We've both given our spiel. Maybe one of us stole it from the other one. Golden State Warriors. They're at 52. Is their over-under. Like, if Cyrus Sotts is going to get wind of us just talking so much, talking glowingly about the Warriors. But
you're respecting them.
Last year, 53 wins. And their over-under is lower than last year. How many games do you think the big three of Steph, Clay, and Draymond played together last year? Just give me a ballpark number.
Under 10?
Give me a ballpark possessions. How many possessions do you think they played together?
I don't even know because I forgot when Clay came back.
22 possessions. Not games. Not a game that I go out there and die for. That I go out there in every game like it's my last. Possessions. We're talking about possessions. You're talking about possessions? Steph played 64 games. Draymond played 46 games. And Clay played 32 games out of an 82-game season. Like, those guys never played together. They have these younger guys that they're rising up a little bit here, so they'll be motivated later in games. I just think 52 is just so low for them. Like, they're going to be motivated with this Draymond thing now. We've done our spiel about how we think that this Draymond punch and all that is going to motivate him in a contract year. Jordan Poole in a contract year motivated. Like they've got enough the motivation to repeat after a title win. I think they'll be motivated to at least win more than 52 games.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have them as the top seed. I said the Clippers on media day, but I think it's going to be the Warriors. I think Warriors are going to win a ton of games. Like if they pass 60 wins this year, I'm not shocked.
Oh, they'll be insufferable.
It'll be a lot of fun.
They'll be insufferable. All right, give me another automatic.
Yeah, my last one, because we did 3 each here. My last one, I didn't want to pick one of another like best team. I wanted to take a kind of a risk on one. Give me Detroit. So I love what the Pistons are doing right now. And last year they won 23 games. Their projected win total for BetOnline is 29.
Yeah.
And so you look at last year and you look at some of these standings last year in the East. It was that the bottom 3 were the Pacers, Pistons, and Magic, right around 25 to 22 wins. Then it was like that next group was the Wizards and Knicks at like 35 and 37. I think they could even push for like one of those, like the 10th play-in spot there. That like one of those last spots in the play-in. I think they're going to win at least 30 games this year. I just like their team. I think Cade's going to have a big time season. I like their trade of Bogdanovich. They have this, they kind of added some sneaky vets with Alec Burks, Nerlens, Bojan now, to where now it's kind of like, all right, these guys will actually play with these young guys of Cade and Sadiq Bey, who should be a Maverick. Yeah, I mean, I don't have high hopes for, Jalen Duren or any of those guys like right now, but just Cade, Sadiq Bey, Bojan. I think they're going to win games.
I made this connection with Matt Moore on the Odyssey Ultimate Preview. You can go check that out on the Odyssey app. Just search the Ultimate Pro Basketball Preview 2022. We talked about the Pistons over-under. Luka, in his first year, the Mavs win 33 games. Second year, they go to 43 wins. Now, they do add Porzingis in that time, but can't you see Cade doing a similar leap? Yeah. Maybe it's not a 10-win leap, but it could be a 6-win leap, a 7-win leap, and that takes them from the 23 wins they had last year to 30 wins that they could have this year. So I could see that happening, plus the talent that they added. And what if Ivy's good?
Yeah.
What if Ivy comes in and he's just good right away and gives them the Killian Hayes type guard that they really wanted?
Yep.
And they get that and add that dimension, because they didn't have any guards like that besides Cade last year. So yeah, I'm with you on Detroit. I don't know about 29, but I don't know about an automatic over for me, but I'm with you on that one. I got one more too. I got one more as an automatic over, and then we'll move to the unders. The Chicago Bulls number is insulting. It's insulting.
It's an automatic over for you?
41.5.
I don't know what to do with them.
Give me the over. Give me the over 41.5. Okay.
Lonzo's not playing until
how many games Lonzo play last year?
Heck if I know.
You think it's over under 50?
I'll say a little over.
35. Lonzo played 35 games for them last year. Now, DeRozan did go on his crazy Wilt Chamberlain run of 30-point games and game winners and all that. But Ayo Dosunmu seems to be rising up into that spot. Caruso should be a little bit better and hopefully healthy. They added Dragic.
Pat Williams be back.
Pat Williams is back. That one's great. Drummond is a great backup center for them.
No.
They didn't have any backup centers last year. They were going with Tony Bradley or nobody.
You're really going to defend your over on the Bulls by talking about Drummond?
Well, it's not the first thing I mentioned, but it is definitely one of the things that I have mentioned.
Drummond hit 3 threes the other night, so I'm taking the over.
Looks good. The 3 threes look good. No, but at least they have a backup. What if Vooch goes down? Then all of a sudden that number doesn't look good, but they at least have Drummond as the self-proclaimed best rebounder in NBA history to go out there and play some games. Last year, 35 games from Lonzo, 41 from Caruso, 17 from Patrick Williams. They're going to get more out of at least Caruso and Patrick Williams. They won 46 games last year, and they also had a terrible, awful, no good end of the season last year. So
no,
I'm feeling the over on that. They're above 500 team.
I just don't know what to do with them. They're one of my more confusing teams that we're going to talk about in the last segment. That there's a route that they're trading DeRozan before the deadline, and there's also a route that they're one of the top 6 teams in the East, and I just don't know what to do. All
right, coming up, the automatic unders, and then we'll give you the tough choices, the ones where we're oof, just couldn't decide, just couldn't figure out what to do with it. We'll give them to you rapid fire coming up next. All right, Isaac Harris, we've talked about the Dallas Mavericks over-under. We've given you the automatic overs on the win totals. Now let's do some automatic unders. Let's do these a little more rapid fire. What are your automatic unders?
Lock the Spurs in. All right, we're gonna see some historic tanking.
They have the lowest over under of the whole thing, 22.5.
Yeah, 22.5. I mean, I guarantee most of our listeners can't name 5 players on that team. So I don't know if Pop can name the whole roster.
I watched first quarter of Jazz Spurs tonight, and I had to start looking up numbers. I needed one of those sheets with the faces and the numbers and the names that play-by-play broadcasters in college need to figure out who they're talking about.
I think last year we didn't have a team win under 20 games. I think they win 18.
Oh yeah. Come on, Bobcats. We'll bring on the record. Bring on the record for this Spurs team. Another easy automatic under for me. The Charlotte Hornets. The vibes.
Oh, me too. Me too.
The vibes are garbage.
They're horrible.
The vibes are so bad coming out of there. LaMelo Ball already has an ankle sprain, already out. They could be a team that starts going for Wembanyama too. Their over-under is 36.5.
Lock that in under.
They won 43 games last year, so 36.5 seems low, but they're not getting anything from Miles Bridges. They had 80 games from him last year. He was their leading scorer. Like that.
Terry Rozier will be on a different team by January.
They add no one to the rotation. Like legitimately, they added no one. They lose Miles Bridges, add no one. Mark Williams, the center that they drafted from Duke that was supposed to be the guy that
I like him.
Helped them, not in the rotation. Did you see the chase down block that Justin Jackson had on him? You remember Justin Jackson from on the Mavericks? Chase down block on a 7-footer.
UNC over in Duke, baby.
Not great vibes. They have no depth at all either. They have like zero depth. They changed the coach to Steve Clifford. I don't know. Give me the way under on that one. Like this team's winning 28 games.
Steve's like, I did not take another job to come back working.
No, Steve's just happy to be he's happy to be in the building again.
No, I think they're a sneaky candidate for Westbrook too at some point. Gordon Hayward, Rozier type
Westbrook's gonna ruin like 3 games down the stretch, and they won't get Wembanyama, and it'll be hilarious. I feel bad for Walker and Doug. Sorry, boys.
Give me a lock for the under. The Boston Celtics.
Oh,
so they won 51 last year. Right now, BetOnline has them at 53.5. So 2.5 wins more.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about bad vibes for a good team, there's a little bad vibes. I mean, we know the whole coach situation. Robert Williams is already out. Gallo is already out for the year. You're betting on Sam Hauser, which,
bring me
whatever.
Sam Hauser stock.
I do like that they added Brogdon, but you just can't convince me that everybody hyped up Ime so much about how good of a coach, and he did a heck of a job in the playoff, coaching and all that. That's got to hurt him, right?
Yeah, you can't imagine that means nothing.
Yeah, it has to mean something that they're going to a first-time head coach. So I don't think the 2.5 wins better, and I love Jason Tatum. I think they're like a 48 win team.
Sneaky thing for them is they had an awful start, just like the Mavs last year too. So does their identity carry over from last year, and is it better for them than last year? But yeah,
Horford's another year older, but they did sign Blake Griffin though. So
all right, are you sitting down?
Ooh, I'm ready for this.
Are you sitting down?
Please say the Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers of Anaheim.
Let's go!
Easy under. 44.5 is their over under. I just all right, they won 33 games last year. They got 40 games from LeBron, 56 from LeBron, 40 games from Anthony Davis. They were 11-11 when those two guys played together last year. Still have Westbrook, still the vibes. They have to win 12 more games than last year. Like they have to win so many more games last year to get this over under. They're legitimately only returning 4 rotation players from last year. Is that a good thing or a bad thing from a 33-win team? I don't know. No clue. No clue about this. They're a little bit better rotation-wise with Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant, maybe Damian. They're at least a little bit better talent-wise, but you're just relying so much on Anthony Davis and LeBron that I'm not there for a 45-win team.
All right, I just want to make sure I didn't talk, because I want to make sure I can clip this.
You can clip it in the future. Well, go back and clip when I had the Lakers as like one of the top 2 seeds last year, because I thought at least Westbrook would help them win games. I didn't think it would be that bad.
I debated on it. I just feel like they're going to turn there's some trade that's going to piss me off. They're going to turn these 2 picks and Russ into like serviceable guys, and
I just don't think that Rob has any more left in the tank here.
I mean, you got extension, so I don't know what to do with them. I'm hoping for the under, but
you have any more easy unders?
No, those are my 3.
I got one more easy under, then we'll do our tough ones.
All right.
Portland.
They were one of my tough teams.
Easy under for me.
How are they an easy under?
27 wins last year. 39.5 is their over under. That's high. You had to win 13 more games than last year. Now, they were not trying at all at the end of last year. Like they brought this team to the AAC at the end of last year that I looked at the stat sheet and I turned it upside down. Like, who are these people? Trying to see who was on there. I texted with Mike Richmond, Locked On Blazers today, and I was like, I'm trying to figure out their over-under. Give me something. They were 12-17 with Lillard last year. That's a 33-win pace. They also
he was dealing with that injury though.
He was dealing with injury. He should be back from that. That'll be good. They also had 36 games of CJ and 36 games of Norman Powell last year. So that 27 wins is including those guys that they traded away. Their starting lineup is good. Nurkic, Lillard, Anthony Simons, Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant. That's a good starting lineup. Their depth just falls off a cliff after that. Gary Payton II, your boy Nas Little,
I like him.
Justice Winslow, Trent Wofford, Olivier Sarr is their backup center. Like that's a fake name that I just made up. Like
no, he was a monster in the boards in college.
But yeah, he's their backup center. Like they just don't have any depth. So if any of those guys, like if Nurkic goes down, they have zero big men to play for him. And so that's why I'm easy under. Like they could be 38-37 win team, but I'm still getting the under there.
Yeah, these are. I mean, we'll go ahead and transition this.
Yeah,
the toughest teams for me in this exercise, Portland was right there because it's like you look back at some of these years and you say, man, Lillard really carried some of these Portland teams.
Yeah.
Like good records. And it's like if you believe in him, like being back fully healthy, normal Damian Lillard, you know, you look at some of these catch and shoot stuff with Simons playing next to Lillard. I mean, he wanted Jeremy Grant. Let's see how that fits. It's a different look for him having a wing guy like Grant who can score. I love their addition of Gary Payton. I like Josh Hart. Like they got a couple. I mean, Shaedon Sharpe is like a huge mystery for him, but if he's like legit this year, I mean, it's huge for this team. That I could just see the route that you say, but there's also a route. I mean, you look at last year, the play-in teams in the West, like the Spurs were the 10th in the play-in. They won 34 games. Clippers were 9th at 42 games. I think Portland's like right there fighting for the 9th or 10th in the play-in.
Yeah, but there's like multiple teams that were bad last year that won't be this year.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I think there's 4 teams in the West, though, that are like locked into losing a lot of games. And I mean, like Houston,
Utah,
San Antonio. And I'm putting OKC in that.
OKC, yeah.
Yeah, in that group too. So then you're looking at like that's not even including somebody that's going to lose their star player and then tank it out.
But everybody else is trying to win though.
Yeah, Kings are trying to win.
Blazers trying to win.
But that takes you to just one of those 2 teams is going to get left off. Like that gives you 11 teams that are like trying this year in the West.
It's the Blazers.
Yeah, it's the Blazers or Kings. Like or Lakers, you know, like who's going to have anyway.
Give me a tough one.
I just don't know what to do with them. Well, we already talked about the Bulls a little bit. They're a tough one for me, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'll say the Hawks.
Yeah.
So last year they won 43 games. They had some injury stuff. This year they're projected at 46 by Betonline. So 3 games better. I'm taking the under on them, but I just don't know what to do with them. I feel like I'm in the minority that I'm not in love with the backcourt of DeJounte and Trey. And I like DeAndre Hunter.
You remember going into the draft, who was the one player that everyone thought for sure was going to get traded? Like absolutely 100% for sure was going to get traded was John Collins. Yeah. What happened? Like we're just fine with that. He's just back now. He's just okay playing on that team, like with the contract that he has, that is the role that he's going to get. Like I don't know what to do with that team. I hope they're good. I was watching Trae Young play in Abu Dhabi the other day, and like it's fun. And I hope that the DeJounte Murray thing works out for them. But
such a random sentence.
They were in Abu Dhabi. It was cool. I don't know. It was cool. They were playing overseas.
I just don't know what to do with them. If they're in the play-in, then I get it. If they bounce back and are in the top 6 seed, I'm not sure.
The thing about the East is they could be in the play-in and win like 48 games.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I was a playing team right now. Pelicans,
tough one for me. 36 wins last year. Their over-under is 45. Like that's 9 more wins than last year. We look at that post-CJ trade, like, oh, it's such a great trade for them. It gave them their identity. They played the Suns really tough. They were 13-13 in the regular season after the CJ trade. Well, it's not like they were this juggernaut team that was destroying people.
Without Zion.
They didn't have Zion, so they got 0 games from Zion last year, 55 games of Brandon Ingram last year, so like 26 games of CJ McCollum. So they just have a lot to figure out. And so I want to just go slight under because there's just a lot of things to figure out. I think they'll be good, but they're still young. They have a lot to figure out. And yeah, they are deep though. They're deep. Also, Brandon Ingram and Zion have played together, like not last year, but the year before. Yeah. They played 61 games each. I don't know how many of those exactly together, but the Pelicans were only 31 and 41 when those guys played. So, yeah. So I'm not sure what to make about that. Give me another.
Yeah,
one.
I mean, everything hinges on Zion. Like, there's a couple of these teams. Like, I mean, I feel like you can put the Lakers in that. They have these injury-riddled guys that determine their whole season. And AD, Zion. There's a couple more in there. I was kind of.
You could put the Mavs in there a little bit with Luka. He's not super injury prone, but everything does ride on him.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like injury prone players that everything rides on.
Maybe Lillard because of his injuries the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'd put Lillard in that. I put the Grizzlies in this category too.
Yeah.
Just because last year they won 56 games. We know they were the second seed in the West. This year they have them at 49.5. And like, I think, I don't know. I've just went back and forth. Jaren Jackson Jr. missing a good portion at the beginning of the season. They lost Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton. They added some rookies that some people are high on, but I don't know. I think they take a step back. It's just a matter of how big the step is.
Matt Moore on the Odyssey preview, which another plug for that show, is just I had a really good conversation with him. Talked about how they come up with these, how Vegas comes up with these over-unders. And they don't look at just the win total from last year. They look at how you won games from last year. So like the Suns win a ton of games late. They won a ton of clutch games. They won a ton of games that they quote unquote weren't necessarily supposed to win. And so then now their over under this year is really low, like way lower. They're not thinking about the Sarver stuff. They're not thinking about the Ayton vibes. They're thinking about how they won the game last year. And so I look at that team and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. The Grizzlies won a bunch of games last year they quote unquote weren't supposed to win. And now what do we do with them? Plus the take foul thing, that should help them, but who knows if it helps them in both directions. I have one more, the Clippers. 42 wins last year. Their over-under is 52.5. Like I think it's the number one in the West. They got 31 games from Paul George, 0 games from Kawhi, 5 games of Norman Powell, 59 from Batum, and 54 from Marcus Morris last year. Like they're just not even the same team they were last year. So
0 from John Wall.
0 from John Wall. Like I don't even know what this team was. They have a ton of depth. Their depth chart is ridiculous, but I just don't know what to do with them. I want to just go slight under because also last time we saw this Clippers team, they didn't care at all about the regular season. They were just waiting for the playoffs. Are they going to be that same team? Is Ty Lue going to try to, build them up in the regular season and make them win some of these games late? Or are they just still going to just rest everybody for the playoffs and just try to make it through and load manage and all that? Like, who knows with this team? So that was a tough one, but there you go. That's our over-unders. Let us know in the comment section below. Which one of these teams are you definitely automatically over or under on? Thanks for making us your first listen. Now go check out the Odyssey season preview that I just plugged a couple of times. Matt Moore is on there. Myself, I'm hosting every single day with our NBA host. Really good content there with some roundtables and then extra stuff from Odyssey as well. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom!